all of these objections and blockages is because you don't want to feel like a fraud to your own self-identity. So you keep it quiet. But what happens is the quiet becomes secrecy. And the secrecy, which feels maybe in the beginning like a reprieve, I know it did for me, eventually feels like shame, right? And feels like that's like this is the fraud, which keeps the cycle going. Right? But here's what I want to hear. So if you're at the place now where you're just starting to recognize this, the idea that we sometimes have about people that ask for help, that they're like dramatic or needy or just like a disaster, it's not right. That's not the right, that isn't true. Right? I learned this. And now at the first at like the beginning stages of something that feels off to me, or that feels like, I can use some support, not saying I need someone to do something for me, but like emotionally or help to help me feel better, I ask, right? Because like I deserve that. And I'm also there for other people too. Right? I don't wait until I fall apart. Like, you don't have to wait until you fall apart publicly or till you hit rock bottom. Right? You don't have to hide the most human parts of you just to maintain an image. To be honest, a lot of times when we get help, when we've hit rock bottom or we fall apart, we're not connected to our center, and actually, we could show up as extreme versions of ourselves on the other side. So this is the best place to start asking for help, when you start to see this, when you start to see this dissonance, this disconnect, this gap, and you start to see that it's something that isn't working for you, that isn't healthy. Because the antidote to binging is not more discipline. It's not more rules. Okay? It's not even so much about food. It's not even about hunger and fullness cues. That's why it's like it's important to understand that, to learn how to nourish your body and eat with integrity. But when it comes to binging, like I said, it's a different energy. There's a different motivation behind the binge. And a lot of times it's because we're living in a dishonest way to our soul. And our soul knows. So the antidote to secret binging isn't more rules or more discipline. It's more honesty. It's giving yourself permission to live out loud, to say, I'm struggling, even if everything else looks perfect, right? You could be capable and be struggling at the same time in different sections of your life. Okay, you could be badass in one area and then an hour later be struggling. Right? It's giving yourself permission to be known, to be seen, not just in your perception or your presentation to the world, your highlight reel, but in your humanity, in your complexity. Because I'll tell you right now, the minute that you learn how to have that relationship with yourself, and then you learn how to create that relationship with other people and that intimacy, so you create the intimacy with yourself and the intimacy with with people, food loses its grip. Not all at once, but gradually. Because the pressure to be perfect, it starts to dissolve. And with it, the need to control food, to binge, to like have this contentious relationship with food and put so much emotional energy into eating and food in order to cope, it starts to go away. because healing and getting support doesn't mean that you're losing strength, right? It means that you're just redefining strength.